Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Well, it's Friday, and usually on Fridays I talk about the books that I read in the week, but on this Friday, it's special because it's the 28th of March, and on February 28th, 1 month ago, I started this BookTube channel. So, today marks 1 month on BookTube. Which is really exciting, and I'm happy about it. And I thought I would go over some of the things that I've done in the past month, especially because yesterday Steve Donahue gave me a shout out on his channel, which was very nice, and that led to a bump in subscribers, which I really appreciate. But it will not save his neck in these haul wars. If he thinks that he can get away with the naked aggression of that last haul, I'm afraid he's got another thing coming. But I'm assuming that a bunch of new people are here, and it happens to align with 1 month on BookTube. So I thought I'd just make a video going over everything I've done in the last month, and just kind of celebrating the fact that we're here. And the first thing is to talk about the fact that last night I went to bed with like 67 subscribers, and I woke up this morning to like 105. So that's pretty cool. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. I think breaking into the 3 digits in 1 month is really cool. So that's awesome, and thank you to anybody who decided to subscribe, and I hope the videos that I make are interesting to you. So that's awesome. In 1 month, getting over 100 subscribers, I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't sit down with some sort of premeditation on how many subscribers I wanted to have by how many, what date. But if you had asked me when I started how many subscribers I would have after a month, I don't think I would have said 100. So that's very cool, and I appreciate that. If you don't count this video, I've made 27 videos on my channel so far, which is cool. 27 videos in 30 days, that's a pretty good ratio. I usually try and shoot 4 or 5 videos a week, 1 video a day, Monday through Friday at least. So that's awesome. Of course, the videos that I film are not edited in any way or in any substantial way, so they don't necessarily represent some massive time commitment on my part. Maybe that'll change going forward, but one of the 10 commandments here on BookTube is thou shalt not work, and I take that one very seriously because I want this to be fun. And for me, sitting down in an editing software for 15 hours, meticulously editing a video together is not fun, especially because I have this big window here, and anybody who's edited videos before knows that you have to have a constant source of light. So I would have to black out that window and then relight everything with expensive, or at least very space-consuming lights, just so I could have the privilege of spending 15 hours in an editing room piecing things together. So I don't want to do that. I want to have fun, and sitting down in front of a camera and talking about what I'm reading and what I like to read and what I'm hoping to read is a lot of fun. So I'm really enjoying that. But yeah, so that's 24 videos in this month, which is pretty cool. I went on 3 separate book hauls, or I made 3 separate videos where I hauled books on them, and I went through and tallied them all up. That was 27 new books since I started this channel, which is more than I probably should have bought, but at the end of the day, I'm engaged now in a cycle of violence that will never come to an end, apparently. So that number is going to continue to rise exponentially going forward. During this month, I did 5 tags, which makes sense. I do a tag every Tuesday, but I did an extra one this past Wednesday because I got tagged. And I didn't have another Tuesday in this month to do it, so I did that. So I did 5 tags, which were a lot of fun. The video I have with the most likes is the first video I uploaded, which has 25 likes on it, which is a little bit unfortunate because I do not like that video at all. I will probably be taking that video down at some point, especially because I did the BookTube newbie tag a little while ago, and if you're new to my channel, I would much rather you for a first experience of who I am and my channel, I would much rather you go to my BookTube newbie tag than the first video that I posted. So I might be taking that down at some point, but we'll see. A bunch of awesome people who I love in the BookTube community have stopped by and said very positive and nice things in my comments. I wanted to list some of those people out. The first was Randy Ray, who has been nothing but nice to me, and I have absolutely appreciated his friendship so much. So Randy Ray is awesome. Steve Donahue obviously showed his face here, which has been amazing. J. Scott Phillips showed up. Hannah over at Hannah's Books said some very nice things recently, which I appreciate. Pat at Book Chat with Pat stopped by, which I love. Tim over at Tim's Books, Reading and Stuff also stopped by on that video that I did doing his March of the Mammoths tag, which was cool. And I just saw that Joe Spivey reached out on that recent haul that I did yesterday. So very cool. Thank you all for stopping by. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but those are the ones that came to mind. I made 5 videos talking about books on their own without, fitting them into other things. I made a video just recently on The Violent Bear and Away for Flannery O'Connor's 100th birthday. I made a video on The Flamingo Smile by Stephen Jay Gould, which I loved. This was the one that attracted Randy Ray's attention. This is Jim Thompson, The Getaway, which I read for his Lone Star Book Club, and I really enjoyed talking about that one. Then I read and talked about Pale Horse, Pale Rider by Catherine Ann Porter, made a video about that, and then I made a separate video about the History of the Revolution, Russian Revolution, by Leon Trotsky, and this was my mammoth for this month. So if you are interested in any of those books, I have videos about them, and I've talked about many, many more books on this channel already, but those are the ones that I talked about on their own terms in their own separate videos, which was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to get better at it. I've noticed that those videos don't seem to get nearly the engagement that other videos of mine get, which is totally fine, but I'm chalking that up to my own presentation of the books. I want to be able to get better at talking about books just generally, and especially when I'm going to sit down and for 10-15 minutes or so talk about a book. I want that to be a really good, condensed, just nice summation of how I feel about a book. Generally, when I talk about a book, I don't want it to be confused with some kind of review in any formal capacity. It's just like personal reflections on reading it. I would much rather talk about what I liked about the book personally, maybe what I didn't like so much about the book, my own personal reactions to it, because this channel is more of like more equivalent to like a vlog in a way, because it's just me talking about my reading life. I do a lot of reading and I love reading, so it's just my personal reflections on something that I'm reading. So I'd like to be able to get as good at doing that as possible, and hopefully people will enjoy those videos as I get better at it. That leads me to the last section of the video, which is advice. If you have any advice for me, if you have anything that you want to say, feel free to reach out. It could be positive or negative. I don't really care. I love any and all interaction that I get. I've had a bunch of very useful comments and very thoughtful comments since I've started, and the comments really are my favorite part of this, whether it's a comment on my YouTube videos, whether it's an email that I get separately. I put my email in the description of every one of my videos, so if you have something that you want to say, you're welcome to reach out for whatever reason. So anything, any and all feedback that you want to give, or just if you want to rant and rave about something, feel free. I love it all. That was the big point of starting this channel, was just to integrate myself into the book chat world, just people who also like books, also like reading, also like BookTube and follow other BookTubers, and want to talk about their reading life. So there's that, and then I would like to extend a piece of advice to anybody who is looking to start a BookTube channel. I'm only offering this because I've noticed so far that ever since I posted my first video, I have attracted people who either are thinking about starting a BookTube channel or have just started a BookTube channel of their own. And obviously, I'm kind of hesitant to do this because I am by no means a wizened expert at BookTube. I just got started, and so I'm not planning to get up on a soapbox for long, but I just wanted to say that genuinely it's been a lot of fun, and it's been an extremely positive experience. So if you're thinking about doing it, I definitely recommend doing it. And the only advice that I would give is that the first thing you have to do is live a readerly life. I would say that that's the first and most important thing when you're starting a BookTube channel, is that you like reading, that you read frequently, and that books are something that make up a big part of your life. And now, obviously, that manifests itself in different ways for different people, so I don't want to prescribe what that should look like. But generally speaking, I would say one of the litmus tests is if you're in a city that you've never been to before, maybe you're on vacation, and you pass by a used bookstore, do you make it a priority to go in there? Because in my experience with readers, and being a reader myself, you just can't help it. It would be like being into cars or something like that. You happen to stumble across a car show, and then, I would imagine that a car person would make the time to go check out that car show. If I'm in a place that I've never been to before and I see a bookstore, that becomes like my number one priority to go in. And I've actually had some of the best experiences buying used books that way. So there's different ways of thinking about it, but I would say the first thing is that you enjoy reading, you live a reading life in some sense, and your books form a big part of your life in some way. And then number two would be to become a fan of booktubers. That is the second, and I think maybe even just the most important step to starting your own BookTube channel, is that you just really have to fall in love with the community. I mentioned in my first video, I think it was my very first video on BookTube, that not only did I really start to love the BookTube community as somebody who is watching BookTube, but I was also made aware of the fact that BookTube was an extremely unique place on BookTube. I have been watching BookTube. I grew up on YouTube. On YouTube, I genuinely did. I've been around since the start of BookTube. I was born in 1999. I was like, I think YouTube got started in 2007, 2008. I think I was watching it from when I was 7 and 8 years old myself. So I've been watching YouTube for forever, and I had never, until I was 22 or 23, I had never found or discovered a place like BookTube, or this little corner of BookTube, before in all my years of watching BookTube. And that's what made it so exciting for me, was not only did I like this community, but I recognized how unique and special it was, because I had just watched so much of YouTube before that. But these people on BookTube were talking with each other through their videos, tagging each other, interacting with each other in a way that was completely unique, and totally inviting. And so I've lived that experience. I've experienced I felt the invitation, and then now I'm actually receiving it, which is extremely nice and rewarding. So I would say number two is to become a fan of booktubers, and then that leads you to number three, which is participate in the community. Now that you like the community, now that you have your own things to contribute to the community through your own reading life, just participate. Don't act as if you're a lone wolf. I guess there might be a way to do it. You might be able to make a bunch of videos that, you know, I don't know, go viral or something like that, and you can get your own sort of community built around yourself. But generally speaking, I think that the people who are going to have the most fun with BookTube are the people who are going to make videos in response to the videos that they've seen from other booktubers, who are going to be doing tags that other booktubers do, who are going to get tagged by other booktubers, who are going to go on hauls with other booktubers in mind. I mean, there's just so many ways to participate in the community. There's no reason to prescribe how exactly you ought to do that, but I would say that that would be the reason that you would start your channel in the first place, you know, vis-a-vis number 2, which is being a fan of BookTube. So you become a fan of BookTube, and then you would naturally want to participate in it. So those are the 3 things that I try and keep in mind myself as I make videos, and they've worked out really well for me because it's been 1 month on BookTube, and already I'm starting to feel the positive effects of it. I started feeling the positive effects of it after my first video. Genuinely, it was like some pressure had been released, I feel like, almost, because I had been thinking about it for a long time, going back and forth on it for a long time, and then I made it, and I was like, you know, that was pretty cool. I could do another one of those, and I did. And then that's just tumbled forward, and now we're in the triple digits of subscribers. We've been doing it for 1 month. This is now my 25th video, so it's exciting, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm gonna get down from my soapbox now. I'm just gonna extend another heartfelt and sincere thank you to all of the people who have commented, whether you have a BookTube channel or not. I don't want to make it seem like I only want interactions from people who have BookTube channels. Some of my favorite comments that I've gotten so far have been from people who you know, are just BookTube watchers. So absolutely, no matter who you are, if you're watching this video, I'd love to hear from you. So that's it from me. Thank you, BookTube.